In part one of our investigative series, we learned about a new push to put blood on ground ambulances, and we explored the barriers to entry.
One tall hurdle: funding. Here's K10's Bailey Vaughn.
One of the issues that we run into with the EMS, both Oklahoma and Texas, is we're not considered an essential service.
Even though these are the people who show up to save your life or rush you to the hospital, EMS nationally is recognized as a supplier of medicine, not a medical provider of care. To make it simple, hospitals can itemize your bill. EMS agencies are reimbursed by insurance per transport. Insurance companies look to the national standard for coverage and costs, Medicare.
The idea is that when an ambulance goes out and picks up a patient, takes them to the hospital, that insurance would cover that cost. But not everyone has insurance, and not everyone's insurance pays as much as what the full coverage would be.
Medicare just comes back and says, oh, here's $300 for that call. Everything else that kept you alive, you get $300.
Who takes the hit? Ground ambulance agencies.
Ambulances are underfunded, understaffed. There's not enough money. There's not enough people. And so to be able to give blood, we got to be reimbursed for those services.
Private air ambulance companies like Air Evac charge more because of what it takes to get that helicopter and that highly trained crew off the ground. According to the American Action Forum, the median cost for an air ambulance trip is $36,000. When you're charging that much per trip, the price an air ambulance company pays for blood just gets tallied in as an operating expense.
We bill for our services, and it just has to be included, so it's an additional cost as well.
Putting an ambulance in one of our local fire departments costs hundreds of thousands of dollars.
We made a deal with Whitewright for them to upfit a second ambulance, and that was around $400,000.
That's why ambulances are typically housed with the fire department. EMS benefits from the money fire is given, and fire needs to help EMS with those calls to keep up their call volume.
EMS runs about 7,000 calls in Bryan County a year. Fire runs about 2,000 calls, and out of that 2,000, about 80% of those are EMS calls helping the ambulance service.
In Texoma, the majority of our fire departments are entirely volunteer-based. Those volunteers aren't paid a dime for their time. In Love County, for example, there are 15 volunteer fire departments that operate under 4 fire districts as one organization, and they all split the county's fire sales tax to keep the lights on and the trucks running. Grayson County officials are talking about implementing emergency service districts, a similar plan.
That is going to be one of our priority focuses, is working with communities to help establish ESDs.
Thanks to a new plan between Heartland Medical Direction and the Oklahoma Blood Institute, change could be coming to the Sooner State.
We've got approval from OBI that we're going to place blood in 5 strategic locations across the state, kind of regionalized to help facilitate that pre-hospital administration of blood.
Bryan County will be one of those locations. For K10 News, I'm Bailey Vaughn.
Next time, a look at the timeline of when that could happen and how we make it work for our nation's service members.